Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. You will be seeing this on March 10th. So, I want to take a look. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a shorter look, I hope, anyways. I want to see what's going on with Trump and the Trump family. Apparently, Ivanka is saying she doesn't want anything to do with politics. Don't even talk to her about it. Jared Kushner's like sort of vanished, right? He's got nothing to say to nobody. In fact, I don't even know if anybody's seen him lately. So I want to take a look at that and just see how they're doing and perhaps where the danger and the pitfalls lie for them. Okay, so you've got those documentations, the financials that were released to Vance. So that's going ahead. And, you know, he doesn't have, well, he doesn't have any power anymore. Let's start there. But he doesn't have the protection of the presidential seal, if you will. So I think things are perhaps worse than he's letting on. So come on down. Let's take a look and see how Trump and the Trump family are doing right now. Current Trump family, current Trump family, current Trump family. Okay, so he is busy thinking and planning and plotting. He is busy trying to figure out what kind of revenge he's going to hand out and to whom. Apparently, he's pushing back against Lisa Murkowski, and you know he's going to campaign against her in the next election. You know, she's a disaster. She's a loser because, of course, she doesn't do what he wants him to do, or she doesn't do what he wants, right? So he's very busy. He's really in that mindset. In some ways, that is providing, as crazy as this is going to seem, but it's providing him some emotional stability, because if he can focus on that, right, he doesn't then have to focus on all of the other disasters that are coming at him, you know, full steam ahead, right? He can distract himself from the financials being released, from the investigations, from, you know, indictments that may or may not, well, probably are coming down the line. He can distract him from that stuff by surrounding himself with those loyal people who, for whatever reason, still feel the need to hang on to his coattails. And that is sort of giving him just a break. He's able to not look at those things because he's too busy, frankly, doing what he most likes to do, right? He likes to plot revenge. He likes to figure out how to screw people up. He is so thin-skinned, as we know, that he really can't take the slightest hurt or criticism. And well, you know what? He was just handed a kind of really big one. And so trying to figure out how to push back and get back at everybody is what is distracting him right now, okay? It's not, you know what? It's not going to end well, because more and more information is coming out, and it's going to continue to come out. Now, not all of it may be public right now, but it feels like there's grand jury stuff that's happening. It feels like there's more and more information coming out about his money and how things were made to work or look like they were working, how numbers, etc., were manipulated. And that is going to cause him some real significant frankly, problems and heartache going forward. There is so much, oh my Lord, there is so much information that is still to come out. And listen, this is not only about Trump, this is the Trump family. There is so much that's going to come out. The files are going to prove, abundant, right? The right ways, the right thinking. I didn't mean the right party right. The light. They are gaining ground. That energy is starting to take hold and push forward. So, as that does, again, anticipate more crazy from Trump because, of course, he's going to become more and more stressed and anxious. But the investigations are uncovering things, and they will continue to uncover a lot more information. And in some cases, I want to say almost information that it sort of feels almost like some of the stuff that's going to come out actually blindsides some of the investigators. It's almost like things that wasn't on their radar is going to show up as if by magic. And there's going to be more and more and more and more. And Ivanka is not going to fare well in this. She's going to undergo a lot of scrutiny. And again, you know what? The jury's sort of out on whether, she has cut a side deal. And I'm not sure because on the one hand, that mothering sort of protect my children, secure their future, etc. That's on the one hand, but the other hand is I don't dare disappoint Daddy because you know what? He controls his purse strings, and I like his I like what's in the purse. So she's going to be in some jeopardy, I think. And for right now, it honestly feels as if she's another one. She's distracting herself. It's like, oh, let me plan this house we're going to build. Let me do this. Let me do that. Don't let me slow down enough to really focus on exactly how much trouble I may or may not be in. I don't see it going so well, for the 3 kids or for Trump, right? It looks like in some ways they're all sort of hanging around with like bated breath, right? It's like they're waiting for the other shoe to fall. And as that happens, tempers get frayed and people get angry and they get very cranky. And there's, sort of lashing out and there's there's a process going on about, who can we trust? Who do we not trust? Who can we manipulate into being in our corner? All of that kind of energy is going on. It looks like Don Jr. and that girlfriend of his are also, there's going to be communications, things they say and do that are not going to really help their cause. Again, in a very small segment, in a limited way. They will hit the target, right? Because they're going to be talking to the QAnon people who, by the way, wow, look at this. Trump was not re-inaugurated as the 19th real president. Stuff and nonsense, right? But they're going to keep it up because that they feel is sort of their bread and butter. That is how they have attention. That is how they sort of stay in the limelight and with the glow. Those two really, honestly, they're made for each other. And oh my Lord, the better things get for Joe Biden, the angrier and the more crazed they become. Okay. And this is the thing, right? You can publicly say, oh, I don't agree with this, or oh, he did that. But in reality, everybody else is got clearer vision, or for the most part. And the people who are really behind him, or behind Biden, are strong behind Biden, and he's gaining momentum. Where the Trumps are actually losing it, even though right now it doesn't feel like that. I caution everybody to always remember that Well, some people in the Republican Party have very strong and even solid looking like support. The actual numbers are diminishing. So again, I've said this before. If you have 80% of 100 people, that's huge. But if you only have 80% of 500, no, that's wrong. If you only have 20% support of 500, you're not anywhere, it's not looking as good for you. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to always, always remember that, because as the Republican nonsense goes on, as the right wing stuff goes on, and Trump is going to start dipping his toes into that again, make no mistake. And he's already doing it, right? I'm not going to support her. I'm going to run against her. I'm going to this, I'm going to that. That's going to continue, because honestly, at this point, really, one of the last things that he has in his bag of tricks is keeping that base as motivated, as riled up, and frankly, donating to whatever as much as he can get, right? I mean, he's like, not all there sometimes, but he's not stupid. He knows exactly how to manipulate to get what he wants. I mean, heck, he got the presidency. That tells you something about exactly how, unfortunately, good he is at, pulling the wool over some people's eyes. And in that case, it was enough people. But the better Biden does, the more angry he's going to become. and it is true that the more praise is heaped on Dr. Jill Biden, the angrier and the more frustrated Melania gets. Because again, these people are not able to look at themselves or the situations they're in clearly. They don't have that kind of clarity. They live in their world thinking money will protect them, and that core group of people whose emotions they can whip up are going to protect them. And that's not going to do it, because there is a rebirth that is starting to take place in the United States. And listen up, this could be a turbulent pregnancy, and it might even be a bit of a tough birth. But the reality is that white light, that quest for better angels has landed, and it's taking root. And day by day, week by week, month by month, it's slowly, slowly spreading. And because of that, there is great strength. And what the Trumps have to offer, flies in the face of that, right? And because of that, they're deluding themselves. I guess it's the bottom line, right? So, I gotta tell you, it really, really feels like in many ways Trump, and by extension the Trump family, are going to start losing interest in politics. Now, your midterms are like 20 or so months away. I don't know if they're going to lose interest that quickly, but there is definitely some stuff going on. I guess it's sort of like survival, right? You're being attacked. You've done a whole lot of stuff that has brought on you scrutiny. You have lost support. You're becoming more and more isolated. Things that were hidden are coming out, and you're being exposed. I think in some ways their interest for now anyways, in terms of, reclaiming the government, it feels like that may very well get sidelined in this desperate attempt to keep themselves out of trouble. And this is it, right? They are not clear. They tell each other stories to sort of prop each other up, and the kids have a little bit more clarity. I mean, I'm going to say Eric and Ivanka do. Jared, I don't know so much about Don Jr. I think he is so determined to do everything he can to please Daddy that he is literally willing to sacrifice himself. And more's the pity, right? But they sort of, in their little group, they do a lot of, it's going to be fine, don't worry, we're well protected. We have people to help us. And what they don't understand is that they are going to continue to lose support, and they are going to continue to ignore the warning signs and the information coming forward that says, listen up, you guys, you're not really in a great place. So, yeah, they're going to keep pushing ahead. For a while, he's going to continue to try to play the role of, what is it, the 45th president of the United States, as opposed to a former president, because of course he can't stand that, right? He's going to sit on his throne for a little while longer, but I got to tell you, it feels as if that throne is like sinking into quicksand or something, right? The throne itself that he sits on is diminishing, it's sinking, and it doesn't have the attraction, it doesn't have the support, it doesn't have whatever else that he has enjoyed previously. And slowly but surely, the legal ties that surround not only Trump, but by extension the family, are starting to tighten. And in many ways, it doesn't matter how they assess things or how they look at things or how they try to sort stuff out, they're almost oblivious. They're blind to the reality of the situation. And the reality is that it's not going to end well for them. And I think the more pushback the more they try to interfere in politics, for right now, honestly, it's working for them, right? And Mitch McConnell's doing that flip-floppy thing. On the one hand, Trump is completely responsible for the riots. Oh, but he would absolutely support him again. Well, of course he would. I mean, nobody should be confused by that statement, right? Because he is as two-faced as they come, and he is going to do whatever it is he needs to do to try to maintain power. He's in his own whole bunch of mess. But at some point, it's going to start to backfire. They're going to be losing more support. And what he once saw as a strength, that, the Trump, and I have to be strong, and you have to fight, and that's how it is, and that's how you're important, and that's how you yak. He, day by day, is losing his strength. He is being diminished. And even though right now he's putting up a very, very good front, in part because he's living in a state of denial, yeah, he's being diminished. It's not simply going to end well for him. It's really, really not. And I think the kids are in trouble too. I'm going to just ask my little pendulum a couple of quick questions here. If I can find my pendulum, here it is. Okay, so come on back up. Can we talk? Yes, of course we can. Thank you, pendulum. All right. Is Ivanka Trump in more legal jeopardy than maybe we realize at this point? Yes. Is Jared Kushner in that same boat? Is he in a lot more legal jeopardy than anybody knows of right now, or that we know of right now? Yes. Is Don Jr. going to continue sort of the tumble that he is on? I think if he hasn't been sent to rehab, he probably should be. This is just my opinion. I don't know for sure. But it feels as if he is really on a dangerous downhill spiral. Is that a correct assessment? Yeah, it sure is. Does Melania have any intentions of, leaving Trump right now? No, no. And this is the thing, right? Who knows what arrangement the two of them had, but in many ways, she's not that much different from Trump. And so, as long as she sees an advantage to her, she will stick with him. I'm getting some flashes here. Is Trump going to experience some sort of a significant health issue coming forward? Yeah, there's something coming for him. Just with his health, it just doesn't feel like it is as robust or as strong as he likes to imagine it is. Um, are there going to be is there going to be an escalation of right wing activity supporting Trump? Okay. So it's not saying it's going to go away or diminish, but it's not going to really accelerate, certainly at this point in time. It looks almost a little bit like they've had to kind of crawl under a rock a little bit and reconfigure themselves, figure out a new strategy, figure out how to go forward, because they're coming under a lot of scrutiny from the Justice Department for their behaviors on January 6th and around that time. Oh, this is an interesting question. The person or persons who placed those bombs for the January 6th, or in advance of the January 6th um, insurgents, is that person going to be identified? Yeah. So that's super duper good news. Is Donald Trump actually going to end up being the Republican nominee for 2024? Is Trump going to be able to maintain that power? Yeah, no. Okay, so whatever's going on, he's either going to become so diminished, or he's frankly just not going to be in any shape or place, perhaps, to run again. Okay, so thank you so much, you guys. You're so supportive. You're so sweet. You've been following my little selling, buying things. I really appreciate all of your support, your prayers, your good thoughts, your wishes. Thank you so much for keeping me in your hearts. It's very, very special to me, and I'm very, very grateful for it. As I said, I'm looking at booking private readings kind of the middle of April going forward, and that's going to be back on sort of a regular reading schedule, so I'll have more availability. And thank you so much for supporting this channel, supporting me, and take care. See you soon. Be well. Bye-bye.